Good morning, Consul. My name is Antonio Miguel, and I'm reporting from the CPN News Studio. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Dekalb County Career Coach, Ms. Brandy Dupree.
Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here to help Antonio and help the students go over information about the FAFSA.
And today we'll be having a few questions for you about the FAFSA. And first and foremost, what is FAFSA?
So, the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and it provides scholarships, financial aid, Pell Grants, and support for you to be able to pay for college.
And are there any deadlines for the FAFSA?
If you haven't submitted it yet, then you need to do so as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The deadline is June 30th, but since they revamped and redesigned the website, processing and delays are happening nationwide. So the sooner that you complete the FAFSA, the sooner that colleges can get your information,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be released to them.
Okay, so if you were to submit it late, you would
Mm-hmm.
have a longer wait time period?
Yes,
For...
so for example, my son's a senior, and we completed his on January the 5th, and he actually got his was processed on March the 14th. So that just kind of shows you
the wait time period and
mm-hmm,
depending on how you turn it in.
mm-hmm. And it's online, so that speeds up the process. And the new FAFSA was redesigned, as I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and it opened up on December 31st
Mm-hmm.
for everyone.
To make it easier for everyone in a way.
Through that redesign process,
Mm-hmm.
they just said, for the longest we didn't know when they were going to do it, because typically it's done in October.
Mm-hmm.
But with this process, they kept saying that it would be released in December. And we just waited and waited, and then they were like, it's open on December 31st with limited availability. So we waited until January the 5th
Mm-hmm.
to complete it. And so, we started going into the schools and helping students get started on the FAFSA right away as soon as it was open. Just because in the past it opened in October, and now with it not opening until December 31st, that deadline
yes,
before graduation was important.
And what information and documents do students and their families need to have ready when filling out the FAFSA?
So you need your W-2 tax return for the 2022 tax year, if you have it, if you file taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You also need, of course, your date of birth, your social security number, and you'll enter your full legal name. And the same with your parents. You'll need their full legal name, date of birth, social security number, and a personal email that you will have to enter for them to be able to fill out the FAFSA and create a FSA ID. So backing up a little bit, when I came and we created these FAFSA IDs, we set up a username, password, and we used a personal email. So the students already have that, and we asked, parents, for the students to ask their
Mm-hmm.
parents to go ahead and set that up. It makes the process a little quicker
Mm-hmm.
when everybody has all the information ready. Because in the past, or even this year, with that, you had like 45 days to get it. So if you didn't get your parent, if you were a dependent student, you needed your parent to complete it, then they only had 45 days. So if you started in January and you're like, oh, I never did complete that,
Mm-hmm.
and if 45 days are passed, you got to start over again if you didn't finish it.
Are there alternative forms of identification or documentation that can be used in place of social security number for students that have immigrant parents?
Yes, they can use a green card. They also, if they have a birth certificate, if they have a passport, an employment authorization document, there are several additional forms of identification they can upload.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to that part on the form, it will ask for those certain documents to be uploaded.
So if you were to put no, if they don't have a social security, it'll take you to another
Yes.
page to fill out other forms of
Yes.
identification.
Yes, that's correct.
And like you mentioned earlier that there was an update. Do you know any major updates they had so far?
They have just started processing
Mm-hmm.
FAFSA in March and allowing people to, I say processing, opening up the process for edits.
Mm-hmm.
in March. So if you get an email or you log into your account and it says action required, you're able to go in and now edit your form, whereas before mid-March or later in
Wasn't
March,
able to
you
like
weren't able to
edit your
do that.
information.
Mm-hmm.
And what resources and support are available to help students and families navigate the FAFSA process?
So I'm available to come and help as I have this year.
Mm-hmm.
We set up appointments. We've had parent nights at different locations, and your financial aid office at the college that you're wanting to go to, or even if it's not the college that you want to go to, they're available to help as well. You would just need to reach out to them
Mm-hmm.
and see about making an appointment.
So there's always help for
Mm-hmm.
students when trying to.
We're happy to help.
Mhm.
Yes.
And is the FAFSA required to graduate? I know this is like a common question
It
for
is
students.
a requirement for graduation. However, if you are not able to complete the FAFSA, there is a waiver that you can sign
Mm-hmm.
if you're 18. And if you're not 18, then your parent has to sign it for you. That doesn't mean you can never complete the FAFSA after you do it. So if you sign the waiver today and you're like, I'm not able to complete the FAFSA, and then you change your mind and you want to complete it, you can.
Yeah, you still have
Yes.
the opportunity to go back and fill it out.
But it is a requirement for graduation.
And how can FAFSA help students access other forms of financial aid, such as scholarships and grants?
So when you complete your FAFSA and your parent completes their part, if you're a dependent, then your information gets sent to the colleges that you select, because you can select up to 20 colleges to go to. So your information gets sent to those financial aid offices. And from there, they determine eligibility of scholarships and
Mhm.
financial aid. You may also qualify for the Pell Grant, which is money that does not have to be repaid back, and that's $7,395 that does not have to be paid back.
And what are some common mistakes that students and families should avoid completing the FAFSA?
So one common mistake is there is a question, and this may, I mean, there may be some parents or legal guardians that do not want to answer this question, and it is, are your parents unwilling to provide information? So some students will answer no, and it's kind of tricky because when you answer no, then it just sends you to being able to get a loan. But you need to answer yes on that if your parents are willing to provide their personal information, which is, what we discussed, date of birth, social, taxes, if they file taxes, then the answer is yes. Like if your parents not able to provide any of that or unwilling, you would select no, and you would only be eligible for a loan. So everything is it is by law protected. Your personal identification information, your PII, is protected by law. So I know some people get nervous about submitting their information and any of that being compromised. It's protected by law.
How do you know if your FAFSA is processed?
Some students have been getting emails letting them know that it's processed or there's action required where they can go in and edit the form.
Mm-hmm.
But the best advice I can give you is to go in and check your account on your dashboard. When you log in to studentaid.gov, you will go to log in. Then you will select access existing account or existing form. And on your dashboard, it'll be in the top right-hand corner. You click on dashboard and it'll tell you what status your FAFSA is in.
So it's better to check for updates constantly.
I would,
Mhm.
especially with the delays and the processing issues they've had with this new rollout.
Mhm.
I personally recommend checking your account regularly.
Yes, ma'am. And that is all we have for today. Thank you, Ms. Dupree, for coming.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Special thanks to Collinsville High School for hosting me and CPN. This has been a great experience, and I'm available to help. So if somebody has questions or needs to finish anything with the FAFSA or otherwise, my email is bldupree@dekalbk12.org. So thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Console Panther Network to keep up with our latest content.